It started like any other day on a quiet street, until everything changed in an instant. A young woman sat calmly in her car, parked outside a small diner, when a police cruiser pulled up behind her. The officer, face stern and voice sharp, knocked on her window. What happened next would flip the script in the most unexpected way. He demanded to see her ID, questioning why she was parked there. Then, without warning, he asked for something far more disturbing: money. He leaned in closer, hinting that if she wanted no trouble, she'd better cooperate. When she didn't respond the way he expected, the situation escalated fast. He placed his hand on his weapon, ready to intimidate her into silence. But what the officer didn't know was that this wasn't just any woman. She was a senior FBI agent, trained, experienced, and far more dangerous than she looked. Calmly observing every move he made, she was already planning her next step. This wasn't just about one corrupt cop, it was about something much deeper. A system she had vowed to protect, now showing its cracks from the inside. And just when he thought he was in control, she reached slowly into her coat pocket. What happened next will leave you speechless. Her fingers moved slowly, steady, too steady for someone who should have been afraid. But Agent Rachel Torres had faced far worse than this. Before joining the FBI, she spent years working undercover in organized crime units, where every wrong move could be your last. She'd been trained to read people, and this officer, badge number covered, no body cam, sweating despite the cool morning, was setting off every red flag in her book. He barked at her to keep her hands visible, but Rachel didn't flinch. Her calm was unsettling, and it started to show in his voice. He shifted his stance, eyes darting to the street, suddenly unsure if they were alone. She could see the doubt creeping in. What he didn't realize was that her team was less than 5 minutes away. She was mid-investigation, tracking a ring of corrupt officials suspected of abusing their power in exchange for cash. Dirty money tied to several towns across the state. This officer wasn't just a random bad apple. He might be part of something much bigger. Still, Rachel had to be careful. If she tipped her hand too soon, he might panic. But if she waited too long, someone else could get hurt. She met his eyes, holding his gaze, then slowly opened her pocket. And what she revealed wasn't what he expected at all. Rachel's fingers slowly pulled out a plain leather wallet. Not her badge, not her gun, just something to stall him. The officer's eyes narrowed, still gripping his weapon. "What's in the other pocket?" he snapped. Rachel kept her voice low and even. "Just my phone. You want to check it?" Her tone wasn't scared, it was calculated. She needed him to stay close, to keep talking. Every second bought her time, and time was everything. What he didn't know was that her phone had already sent a silent alert to her team. A feature built for agents undercover in high-risk areas, designed for situations exactly like this. And now, somewhere nearby, her backup was closing in. But this wasn't just about her safety. Rachel had been following leads for months: names, transactions, locations. This town kept popping up. Officers accused of intimidation, questionable traffic stops, missing footage. Complaints would disappear. Witnesses would suddenly change their stories. And now, standing in front of her, was a man who might be the missing link, or just another pawn in something even worse. Meanwhile, across town, someone was watching. A man in a dark SUV, scanning a laptop, his earpiece crackling with updates. He wasn't law enforcement, but he knew Rachel's name. He knew she was getting too close, and as she kept pushing, she wouldn't be the only one in danger. The officer stepped closer, his tone now sharper, more defensive. "You think you're smart?" he muttered, scanning the inside of her car. Rachel didn't answer. She could hear the buzz of her earpiece faintly activating, 2 soft clicks. Her team was nearby, but if they moved in too fast, it could all fall apart. She needed him to keep talking, keep slipping, and he was close, too close. He glanced over his shoulder, the weight of paranoia sinking in. Something wasn't right, and he could feel it. Rachel leaned slightly forward, locking eyes with him. "You're not the only one with backup," she said quietly. For a second, his grip on the gun tightened, and Rachel's heart beat faster, but her face stayed calm. Meanwhile, the man in the black SUV watched everything through a small screen. He spoke into the mic. "She's making a move. We can't let this go public." On his screen, Rachel's photo flickered beside a list of agents who'd gone missing in recent months, all working on the same case. The corruption ran deeper than anyone guessed. Back at the scene, Rachel spotted movement, shadows between the cars. Her team was ready, but so was someone else. A black sedan rolled to a stop at the corner. Tinted windows, no plates. Rachel saw it, and so did the officer. Everything was about to explode. The black sedan's door opened slowly, and a man in a grey suit stepped out, face hidden behind dark sunglasses. Rachel recognized him instantly, not from the FBI, not local law enforcement, but from a classified briefing weeks ago. His name wasn't on any official record, but whispers within the bureau suggested he was part of a covert group operating outside the chain of command. If he was here, things were worse than she thought. The corrupt officer stiffened the moment he saw the man. "You said she'd be alone," the man growled, not even glancing at Rachel. "You had one job, keep her quiet." Rachel's mind raced. This wasn't just about local corruption anymore. This was a cover-up, high-level, calculated, and dangerous. She wasn't just uncovering dirty cops, she was stepping into a web tied to federal agencies, private contractors, maybe even politicians. The officer looked panicked now, backing away from both Rachel and the man in the suit. "I didn't know who she was," he shouted, but it was too late. The man reached into his coat. Rachel didn't wait. She shouted a single word into her mic. "Asterisk now. Asterisk." Suddenly, the street erupted with motion. Tactical agents emerged from alleyways, their weapons trained. But the man in the suit didn't flinch. He smirked, lifted a small device in his hand, and clicked it. Every light on the block went out. In an instant, the street was swallowed in darkness. The sudden blackout disoriented everyone. Agents scrambled for cover, radios crackled with static, and the corrupt officer dropped his gun, bolting toward the alley. Rachel ducked behind her car, heart pounding, hand reaching for her badge in one pocket, her backup piece in the other. The man in the suit had vanished into the shadows. Rachel's training kicked in. She activated her thermal lens, a standard-issue tool for high-risk ops. Through the lens, she spotted heat signatures, 3 moving fast, trying to flank her team. She gave quick directions into her mic, guiding agents through the dark. Gunfire never came. This group wasn't here to fight. They were here to disappear. Within minutes, Rachel's team regained control. The officer was caught trying to slip away through a back fence, shaking, pleading, begging for a deal. Rachel cuffed him herself. "You had a choice," she said quietly. "You picked the wrong side." But just when it seemed over, her earpiece crackled. A voice she hadn't heard in years whispered, "You're not done, Rachel. You just stepped into the real game." Her blood ran cold. Later, reviewing footage from the blackout, her team noticed something chilling. The man in the suit had walked right past one of the agents, smiling, wearing an FBI pin. He was already inside. The arrest of the corrupt officer sent shockwaves through the department. Within days, Rachel's investigation led to multiple suspensions, seized bank records, and hidden camera footage confirming a quiet, long-running operation of extortion, threats, and manipulation by officers sworn to protect. But even with that win, the man in the suit remained untraceable. No fingerprints, no footage of his escape, only the chilling fact that he wore an FBI pin and knew Rachel by name. Back at headquarters, Rachel stood before a panel of senior agents. She laid out everything: names, locations, patterns. Her work had cracked open a case much larger than expected, exposing a network that stretched beyond one city. It was the kind of operation people in power tried to bury, but Rachel wasn't backing down. As she walked out of the briefing room, Her phone buzzed. One new message. Asterisk, you're getting closer. Be careful who you trust. Asterisk, no name, no number. Rachel looked out over the city, the weight of what lay ahead settling on her shoulders. She had exposed one layer of corruption, but there were still deeper shadows to face. The streets seemed quiet again, but now she knew better. Sometimes the real danger doesn't wear a badge. And sometimes the truth is more dangerous than the lie. But Rachel was ready.